Hey guys, I am going to go ahead and make these notes. So these notes are if you are not in class today, okay? So as you know, we have been talking about westward expansion. Yesterday, you all did a map of the 5 new territories that we gained. So the Oregon Territory, California Territory, Florida Territory, Texas, and of course the Louisiana Purchase. And so what we're going to talk about today are what were the opportunities and challenges associated with westward expansion, and how did this era of competition for land and gold create a period of economic growth? And so the title of these notes are Geographic and Economic Factors That Influence Westward Movement. Yeah, I know I kind of got caught off right here, so I had to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to actually talk about is population. Okay, now think about over in the east. What is going on with population over in the east? Is it growing or is it getting smaller? So yes, it's actually going to be growing. So the population in the United States is growing. And I guess we'll put in the eastern United States. Now, because the population is growing in the eastern United States, they are trying to find areas that they can move to. Okay. So people aren't wanting to live in those very large cities. Okay. And also think about the fact that if you're a farmer or you worked on a farm, those new technologies like the cotton gin, the reaper, okay, they're actually causing people to leave farms. Now, granted, the cotton gin, it did say the need for slaves increased because they needed them to pick more cotton. But if you're working on a farm and you are not an enslaved African, with the invention of the reaper is going to do the job of more people. So it's going to be cheaper, and the farmers aren't going to need workers. They can just buy this technology and then they don't have to worry about paying people to work for them. Okay. The next one is land. So there again, with those 5 territories, we're going to find that land was available and it was very cheap and it was fertile. Now, what does fertile mean? Fertile just means that it's going to be good for growing. Okay. So if it's cheap and it's fertile, those people who were working on the farms that no longer have jobs, they're going to want to move to own this land. Also, remember the majority of the people that live here are going to be people who are the common man. So go back to Andrew Jackson. The majority of the people are the common man. So they're not wealthy, so they don't own land. So they're going to find that this is an opportunity for them to move out west and buy land because it's cheap, but it's also good because it's fertile and it's going to help them um, have crops that grow very well. Okay. So with that, there's going to come economic opportunity. And guys, you don't have to change colors. You just know me. Okay. So these economic opportunities, they're actually going to be basically reasons for leaving the east and going to the west. So I'm just going to put that right here. Okay. So the first one is going to be gold. So if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, the 49ers actually get their name from 1849 gold rush. So we're going to put California gold rush right here. And I know I could just hear some of you going, what? The 49ers? No way. Okay. Our next economic opportunity or reason that we're leaving is for logging. So up in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, you're going to have very good opportunities for logging. Okay, there again, the next one is going to be farming with that cheap, fertile land. And then your freedom for runaway slaves. And guys, remember, slavery still exists. So they are trying to leave the South and go out west. The only problem with that was, remember your Missouri Compromise and your Kansas-Nebraska Act, which I know we haven't talked about the Kansas-Nebraska Act. But anything below that 3630 is going to allow slavery. So these runaway slaves are going to have to be very careful about where they move to. Okay? So these are the reasons or the economic opportunities for moving. So our next one is transportation. How are we going to get there? And because we have quite a bit to write, I'm going to change my paper. I'm going to write transportation at the top. And how do you think people got out west? So think about it. If you were moving out west back in the old days, the 1800s, how would you get out west? So the first one is wagons. Okay. And then, of course, we had the Transcontinental Railroad. Now, even before the Transcontinental Railroad was built, we're going to have rivers and canals. And one of the canals that you all did your technology on was the Erie Canal. And so that's going to connect over to the river, so the Hudson River. And the Hudson River is going to go down to the Ohio River. The Ohio River is going to go to the Mississippi. And then, of course, the Mississippi is going to go up to the Missouri. So just by using this Erie Canal over here in New York, if you use that Erie Canal, it's going to get you almost all the way over to the other part of the United States. Okay? And with the Transcontinental Railroad, that's going to be the invention of the steam engine or the steamboat. Okay? And then, of course, this transportation is going to be cheaper and faster. Okay? All right. So our overland trails, one of my favorite games ever, is the Oregon Trail. So these overland trails. And of course, these overland trails, they're going to be used more so with wagons or with walking. Okay. So we had the Oregon Trail and the Santa Fe Trail. And then, of course, all of this combined. So the fact that you have this growing population, they think they need to move out west. The land was becoming cheap and fertile. All these different economic opportunities and transportation. All of this kind of was known as manifest destiny. All right, so we are back to manifest destiny. And manifest destiny is actually going to be in quotations. And manifest destiny is just an idea that expansion, so westward expansion, was expansion was for the good of the country. So it's for the good of the country, and it was the right of the country. Basically, what it meant was that there was, they believe that God told them to expand. That's basically what it is. Now, there was one negative thing about this. And what do you all think let's just say challenges. There were some challenges. Okay. What do y'all think the biggest challenge was? Because remember, when we talked about Andrew Jackson, what was one of the things that he did to the Native Americans? The Indian Removal Act. So he's trying to remove the Indians over in the east to Oklahoma. Well, think about the map. Think about these new territories that we gained. There's Indians in those territories as well. So one of the challenges was going to be the Indians or the Native Americans. Now, while they are conducting while they are constructing this transcontinental railroad, we're also going to find that they are also killing off the buffalo. So killing off the buffalo is also going to affect the natives in a very negative way because that was also their way of life. They used every single thing on the buffalo. I think it took something like 18 hides or 12 hides of buffalo to create a teepee. So if they don't have these buffalo, because the Transcontinental Railroad building this is killing them off, then they're also not going to have a food source or a clothing source. Okay, so one of the challenges, of course, is going to be your Indians or your natives. So another one is going to be that your trails are poorly marked. So many people got lost. And then, of course, along these trails, you're going to have the challenges of your wagons. So your wagon wheel might break, you might catch dysentery. So these are your two challenges of your westward expansion. Okay, so far for our notes, we have our population, our land, our economic opportunities, our transportation, our overland trails, manifest destiny, and our challenges. Okay? If you have any questions about your notes, please let me know. Thank you. Have a great day.